Hi guys, and welcome to Premier Division Week 5, and we start with the Friday night game, which is Chelsea versus Liverpool at 8 o'clock tonight. And I've been really impressed with Chelsea lately, even though they did draw 2-2 to Swansea last week, which I didn't think they had their best of games. So I think they'll want to try and bounce back from that tonight. It's going to be a hot crowd, being obviously Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. And a lot of Liverpool fans aren't going to like me for saying this, but I think Chelsea, if they're going with the right mentality and they're going with the right attitude and set up properly, I think that Liverpool are there for the taking for Chelsea tonight. And I do fancy Liverpool to score in this game, but I'm going to go Chelsea 3, Liverpool 1. I really think that Chelsea can send a massive message to the title race, if you like, by getting a massive win like that tonight against Liverpool. So we'll see how that pans out. We then go to tomorrow's games, and we go straight to 3 o'clock kickoffs. No lunchtime kickoff tomorrow, and we have Hull versus Arsenal. I thought Arsenal did quite well to draw to PSG on Tuesday night. I would have took that before the ball was kicked. A very hard place to go to is PSG, so I was quite happy to get a draw there. I don't think we played our best last week against Southampton, but we did nick it with a penalty at the end and made it 2-1, which is very lucky, if you like. I think it was a penalty. I mean, a lot of people are saying it was soft, but I think it was a penalty. And I thought the Southampton player helped us get our agility bonus by giving us the penalty, because if we'd have drew 1-1 last week, I know there's a lot of footballs we played yet, but I think you probably more or less could have wrote us out the title race already if we really drew last week, because teams are getting away from us at the moment. All your top teams like Chelsea and Man City and Man U, they're all getting away at the moment, so we need to be winning our games and keeping at the top with these top teams. Going into the game, I feel that if Arsenal can set up like they did against Watford, play similar to the way we did against Watford, I think that we can win quite comfortably tomorrow against Hull. So I'm going to bear that in mind, that we do set up that way. I'm going to go Hull 0, Arsenal 2. We then have Manchester City versus Bournemouth. I thought Manchester City absolutely dominated Manchester United for the first 45 minutes last week at Old Trafford. A bit different in the second half, bit of tired legs, and I thought Rashford made a massive difference for Manchester United in the second half. But different environment this week. I think Manchester City again will probably walk all over Bournemouth, to be honest, as Bournemouth are quite opening, attacking inside. I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 0. We then have West Brom versus West Ham. Again, what happened to West Ham last week? Against Watford. I did not see that coming at all. That absolutely shocked me when I was reading that on Sky Sports News, and when I watched it on Match of the Day. They're letting some sloppy goals last week. They need to get that out of the system and sharpen up at the back for this week, being away from home to West Brom. I am going to go for a tight game for this one. I'm going to go West Brom 1, West Ham 1. We then have Leicester versus Burnley. Leicester had a fantastic result against Club Brugge on Wednesday, winning 3-0. A fantastic free kick from Riyad Mahrez. That was really some kind of free kick. I remember watching that on Wednesday night, and I remember watching that. I was like, oh god, that's a free kick. That was class. And again, Leicester showing that there are going to be no mugs in the Champions League. So I thought they sent out a good message there, and got their first win on the board in the Champions League. Again, different kind of game on tomorrow. I do think that the Champions League might have took it out of Leicester on Wednesday, because they've got quite a small squad. So I'm going to go Leicester 1, Burnley 1 for this one. I think I can't be any more fair than that. We then have the 5:30 kickoff, which is Everton versus Middlesbrough. Been really impressed with Everton, as I've said this year. Been quite impressed with Middlesbrough as well. A great win for Everton on Monday night against Sunderland, and we'll give Lukaku some credit now, and hopefully get his season going by getting his hat-trick on Monday. But as I say, I've been quite impressed with Middlesbrough at the moment, but being as though it's at Goodison Park, I think that Everton just edge this one. I'm going to go Everton 2, Middlesbrough 1. We now go to the Sunday kickoffs, which there's about 4 games on, and we start with Watford versus Manchester United. Apparently I didn't watch it, Manchester United were absolutely awful against. I'm not sure they played actually on Thursday, but apparently they were awful and they lost one. Excuse me, they lost 1-0. What I did see of them last week for the first 45 minutes, I thought they were absolutely dreadful, absolutely dreadful. I think they've got to start starting Marcus Rashford, as it seems like a completely different team when he's in the side. I've not been impressed with Paul Pogba as such at the moment for Manchester United. Okay, some people might say it's only game 2 or 3, 4, whatever he's played at the moment, but I've not been impressed with him so far at the moment. So that's just my opinion. Who else would get into the squad to replace Pogba at the moment? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you know Manchester, if you're a Manchester United fan, you know your team quite well. Who could replace Pogba for tomorrow? You know, to give him a bit of a rest and just give him a bit of a break, because I don't think it's working out for him at the moment. But that's just my personal opinion. I do feel, however, that Manchester United will win against Watford. They'll just edge it. I think they've got slightly better talent. So I'll say slightly better talent. They have got the better talent. But obviously, what I meant to say is that obviously Watford will make it hard. So with the talent that Manchester United's got, they'll slightly win it. That's what I meant to say. But that came out completely wrong. So I'm going to go Watford 1, Manchester United 2. We then have Crystal Palace versus Stoke. Probably going to be one of the most enjoyable ones actually of the Sunday. Two teams that are quite good at defending, 2 teams that like to attack. Now we all know that Stoke like to play football now, same as Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a tight one on this one. I'm going to go Crystal Palace 1, Stoke 1. We then go to the other 2:15 game, which is Southampton versus Swansea. Again, I think Swansea might get some confidence by drawing to Chelsea last week. But again, being as though it's at St Mary's, I'm going to go for a tight win for Southampton. I'm going to go Southampton 1, Swansea 0. And then to finish off the weekend, we have Spurs versus Sunderland. Again, not a great result for Tottenham on Thursday night, losing 2-1 to Monaco. But again, I think they'll be too strong for Sunderland, and I'm going to go Spurs 3, Sunderland 0. So that concludes this week's Premier League predictions video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next week for next week's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys.